Hey you all, so I'm sitting here with YouTuber GoldJacketLuke today. We talked briefly about dating, and I get quite a few comments about, mainly from men struggling to find women to date or just any women to really be interested in them. And I've wanted to make some advice videos, but I thought it would be very interesting to get a male perspective on things. So just in general, what would you say to men who just think it's hard finding someone to connect with and someone to, commit to them?
Yeah, and I am by no means an expert, but I do think I have some valuable thoughts on this. And I'd say the first step is just to accept that it's hard. Life is hard, and to embrace the challenges that life gives us, and to not be frustrated or resentful, but to take it on as a challenge. And I think for humans in general, but especially men, we kind of need challenge. So I think having a positive attitude is kind of the foundation. And then what we were talking about kind of before filming is we both agreed that like the most important thing is really to focus on yourself, to focus on purpose, meaning, your work, your health, and really making your foundation on yourself and developing self-love.
Yeah.
And that's really at least 80% of dating, in my opinion. Doesn't have anything to do with the opposite sex, but it has to do with focusing on being proud of the person that you are becoming. Like in my experience, the opposite sex kind of works like a mirror to who we are, and I find like when I'm really proud of myself and have lots of self-love, girls like intuitively just like sense that.
Yeah.
And times when I'm not doing too well in life, it's like girls can sense that too.
Yeah.
So it's always best to look inside and not outside.
Yeah.
How to start? I really like a quote by Viktor Frankl, which is something like it's something like that. Human beings need goals. We need some direction, and if we don't have any goals, we're going to be depressed and kind of just drifting through life. So I think one of the most important things is to create some sort of goal that doesn't have to do with the opposite sex. So like the goal shouldn't be to get a girlfriend,
Yeah.
but the goal can be career, it could be health, it could be to clean your room, it could be to get a PhD, it could be anything, but to have some sort of goal and to be putting effort into that goal, I think is a necessary thing, really.
Yeah. I think even as a woman, actually, when you mentioned that when you're feeling self-love and confident, you notice a difference in how women see you. And when you're not, you also notice how they're not as, interested in you. And actually, when you say that as a woman, I can relate to that. When I'm feeling confident and, happy in myself, it's just much more natural.
Yeah.
Connecting with someone or even just having good conversations with other men. Whereas when I'm not feeling very good about myself, it's just so much harder.
Yeah.
Do you think that just if we talk about dating, like in the dating scene, once you've gone past the whole finding someone to date and spend time with, when you're actually seeing someone, because some people comment saying that they go on a couple dates or a date and it just, the girl is not interested anymore. What do you see that are some of the things that men tend to do that might be the reason that women just stop being interested in them, even when they've gotten the chance to be with them?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. One thing is, I think a guy could be, especially when he starts to really like a girl, he could kind of base like all his happiness and validation on the girl's approval and the girl liking him. I've definitely fallen for that a lot. It's like kind of sad how like I could be having a bad day and the girl I'm crushing on gives me a text and suddenly I'm like having a great day. It's like I'm not like that anymore, but it's like crazy how much for guys I'm sure it goes both ways, but like how kind of like validating it could be for the opposite sex to or especially someone you're crushing on to like you. It feels really good, and that's good, but the most important thing is to be able to get your self-esteem not from the opposite sex, because then you're trying to get something out of them, and no one wants to feel like someone's getting something out of them. People want to feel love where it's mutual. So that kind of goes to the point of making sure you're getting self-esteem from your goals, from your work, from friends, from your health, and just being the person that you want to be, and try not to be so like attached to. It's important. It's good to care, but it's important not to be like attached to like, oh, does this girl like me, and really caring. It's best to be. I like the word light. Like some guys can be really serious about a girl, and and that's good, but it's important to you want to play it, genuinely play it cool, not try to play it cool as a tactic, but you want to be happy regardless, and kind of have a trust that you can manage life and not need that validation or approval from a girl you like.
Do you think that we're talking mainly about men now, but generally when people do really struggle to find someone and they're thinking about it a lot, do you think that's a sign that they're just not ready because they're spending that much time and attention on trying to find someone rather than focusing on themselves?
That's a great question. I'm not. I am by no means an expert, and I think desire is good, and it's good to be thinking about someone. But when it turns really needy, or when you're only thinking about them and not thinking about your own goals and things in life, that's when it
can be unhealthy.
It becomes very unattractive as well. What do you think about that?
I definitely think so. I think because there are definitely people like that so much of their attention is on finding a connection or a partner that they just totally forget to take a look at themselves and who they are. Am I attractive? Am I, do I have the things that I'm looking for? It's so easy to, we all have like requirements or wishes of how we want our partner to be. Like, I want someone who can do this and who is that, and then the list goes on. But the scary part, I think, is looking at yourself. How many of these things am I today, and how many of these things could I be if I spent that energy on myself instead? I think that can make a huge difference in how others perceive you and just how you perceive yourself.
100%, and I think in the past, like 4 years ago, if someone was like, look more inside Luke, it would be hard for me. And I think partly some of the goals I had were like, I had a big gym phase where I was like trying to get muscular but to like impress girls, or like my goal was like, I had goals that weren't truly goals for me, but were more goals to like, or like a good example could be like social media. Like some people on like YouTube I've met, and they're like not genuine people, and they're like they just care about like the YouTube fame, and like I could tell that's not healthy. And to like have goals that you do for yourself, not from like an egotistical place, but it's because who you want to be. I think that's a good way to shift into like what you enjoy, what are meaningful goals for you, like what you're saying about meaning. I think meaning is extremely important.
So I've seen on your channel that you meditate, for example. Do you think that's something that's helped you connect more with your inner self and kind of finding out more about who you are and maybe the person that you want to be?
Yeah, I'd say 100%. Yeah, I'm like my personality type is I'm very in my head, like over analyzing things a lot, and meditation is just a good way to get grounded and centered, and to kind of to more tap into who I really am and kind of like my intuition rather than just like the crazy mental thoughts that I often have.
Are there any other, because I like to, or I try to be practical on this channel.
Yeah.
Are there any other things besides meditation that have kind of guided you and helped you and, take you forward in life?
Yeah. So one thing is, several years ago I used to have a porn addiction, and I started doing some research, and there's a lot more research coming out lately now how porn has negative consequences. And I tried to stop looking at porn on myself, and I couldn't do it, and I actually ended up going to therapy for my porn addiction about 3 years ago, and I put lots of work in overcoming my porn addiction, and I felt like that really helped me find myself because and especially how my comfort levels around women, because I think watching porn a lot, it really had me like sexualize and objectify girls, kind of even subconsciously. But once I stopped looking at porn, I felt more like I connect more with just like talking to another human being, and I think that was. I think porn can really affect people's subconscious minds, and it's something I encourage people to look into the research and experiment if taking a break from porn makes you feel better.
Wow. Yeah, that's very interesting that you went through that whole,
Yeah.
process. And I think I don't know how many people realize. I for sure did not really even know that porn addiction was really
Yeah.
a thing until I started seeing your content, for example, and I just became interested in it. And did some research, and there's this whole world about how some relationships were broken because of that, and how trust was broken.
Yeah.
And I was completely ignorant on that topic, so it was very interesting reading about that and seeing other people share their experiences.
Yeah. And I think porn, like, I kind of see porn as kind of like the cigarettes of our generation. It's something that, like, 90% of guys like look at porn. It's like a lot of like very frequently, and it's something I think that based on the research coming out, I think that there are more consequences than people realize to partaking in regularly looking at pornography.
Wow. So I kind of want to wrap up with just some practical advice for essentially any person, but I guess mainly men, of if they're struggling with their identity and approaching women and connecting with people on a deeper level,
Yeah.
and just kind of seeing that whole situation as somewhat blurry. What would you say, to those people kind of looking for just some guidance? And
Yeah. I'd say one of the most important things to finding yourself and also to being successful in life is to have courage and to get out of our comfort zones. So to try new things, and even if you're nervous about something, to take action anyways, because that's how we learn, that's how we grow, that's how we meet new people, and it's also courage is a very attractive trait to the opposite sex. Someone who can not necessarily not have fear or anxieties, but who can experience nervousness, fear, anxiety, but to be able to take action anyways. I think that's a very important life skill that will be beneficial in all areas of life.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for being on my channel. Is there anything you would want to add to that?
No,
All
I really like your videos and definitely keep doing what you're doing.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. And we filmed a video for his channel before we filmed this one. Don't forget to check it out. I will link it in my description, and subscribe to his channel, like his videos, leave nice comments. He posts really great, I think very meaningful content that more people should see. So do that. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye. Good.
Sweet.
Thank
Sweet.
you. That
Yeah,
was great.
thanks for those kind words at the end.